What's up, guys? This is Big Worm 380, and I got a little informational video about recording software that I thought people might be interested in. This is going to be for anybody that's maybe new to YouTube or upgrading from your current software. Everybody's heard of Vegas Pro. I think it used to be Sony Vegas Pro. Sony sold a lot of their video software off to a company called Magix, a company out of Germany. So it's not Sony Vegas Pro anymore, it's just Vegas Pro, and you have to go to this website right here to get it. I'm not trying to push this, I'm not trying to sell any of this. This is just what I use, and I'm just explaining how I got Vegas 15 and why. And as you can see from the title of the video, it's all about the rendering times. If you do any kind of videos for YouTube or are thinking about getting into YouTube and you've done research and people have talked about it, the fun part is playing the game. I personally enjoy doing the editing and the making of the video. The part I do hate about the editing process is the rendering. Rendering times, they can take forever. You got a 15-minute video on the software that I was using, which was Movie Studio 14 was the last one I upgraded to. I started with 13, and Movie Studio 14 was no better as far as this goes, rendering. It can take quite a while. 15-minute video would take at least 45 minutes, and it depends on how many cuts, effects, you know, all that stuff goes into it. But just a straight let's play video, for instance, 15-minute that you render down to about 15 minutes with just cuts and taking parts of the video out and then render, it take at least 3 times the video. So you're talking at least 45 minutes. So I was always wondering, and the reason why that is because the Sony software, and even when it moved to Magix, they don't utilize GPU rendering, or at least with NVIDIA cards. And that's what I've always had. So I upgraded from a GTX 970 to a 1070, and that didn't seem to help much at all either. You know, I thought, oh, well, maybe it does it. It'll do it with a newer card, maybe, but it doesn't. There's an option for GPU rendering, so I think the AMD cards work with this software better than the NVIDIA cards, if I'm not mistaken. It has to do with the rendering codec. There's CUDA cores and all this. I don't know. I looked into it, and basically whatever it was that I needed to do it, I didn't have it. So it was either switch softwares or, you know, whatever. And I was looking around because I've had Movie Studio 14 for a while, and I saw about a month ago that they came, or I saw a month ago, they may have come out with it a little sooner than that, or earlier, that they came out with the 15, the new 15 version came out. And I was considering upgrading to Vegas Pro, but I wasn't sure because I wanted to look around, do some research, and see if they'd made any advances as far as rendering times. I was thinking of moving over to Adobe Premiere Pro, which I originally didn't go with because that's a subscription-based service, and I would have rather had, you know, I prefer to just buy it and have it and be done with it and not, you know, have money coming out. But we'll get to that in a little bit because there's something about Vegas Pro 15 that I would go with had I known or realized, I would go with the subscription service. If you go to Magix.com, this is the company that bought most of the video stuff from Sony Creative Software. And you go to video, they actually have several different ones besides the Vegas stuff. They got Vegas Pro, and they've got Vegas Movie Studio. Movie Studio 13 was the first one I got. I upgraded to 14 last year around this time, and then they came out with 15s on both of these, like I said, a month or two ago. And of course, whenever you sign up, you register your software, have a program or a profile with Magix, they send you offers all the time. Oh, upgrade to this or get this, you know, add-on software, and so you're always pretty much up to date on what's going on with that. If you look here, and we're not going to go through all of this, but they have 3 different tiers of stuff you can buy. I paid $80 for 13 and 14. You can get just Movie Studio 15, the new one, for $49, and that's not bad. Now, here's the deal about these different tiers that they have. If you go down here, you can compare the features on each one. I would say if, you know, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. I don't need DVD software and all that, and that's what a lot of these higher tier, if you're looking at softwares and they have higher tiers, they add like DVD software, like actual music editing software maybe comes with it and stuff like that. If you just want straight up video editing software, I would almost say go with this one. And plus, if your budget prohibits this, then and you can get this, go ahead and go with this. Now, there are some basic features that limit the software, of course, and they hide behind. They're basically hiding it behind a paywall. I think it's kind of messed up. Like, for instance, number of video tracks. I don't think I've ever had a video with over 10 tracks, honestly. But it just depends on how you want to edit your videos and, you know, whatever you want to do. But see, you only get 10 with the $50 one, and you get 200. And then there's a lot of technical stuff down here that I don't even know what the hell it does. But one that I noticed when I was looking at this, track output meters. I think that's the volume on them. That doesn't come with the $50 one. That's I don't get that, because you know you want to kind of maybe monitor the volumes on each one and keep them, you know, at a certain level or in relation to each other. I think that's what that is. That seems kind of weird. But then there's like plugins and stuff. These are like extra stuff that you can add for effects and stuff. You can't do that with the cheaper one. So, but again, just for basic video editing, I would, you know, you'd be fine with this one or any other software you choose. So let's take a look at the Vegas Pro and see what they've got. Okay, so they've got Vegas Pro Edit. Now, then you see why. This is exactly why I never got Pro, okay? Because to buy this, they have a subscription-based service, and again, I'll get to that in a minute. But Vegas Pro Edit is basically the basic version of Vegas Pro, and you can compare these. I'm not going to go through the comparisons. Basically, $250 for just the bare bones version of Vegas Pro. Okay. Now the regular Vegas Pro, it comes with, again, I think it comes with a lot more software, and I don't know if it's so much features in the software itself for the editing. I don't know though. But $250, or how much is this one? $600 for Vegas Pro. There's no way I'd pay that. That's why I bought the regular stuff. But now they have a subscription-based deal for this, and it's $16.77 a month. Now, I got an offer to upgrade from Movie Studio 14 to Vegas Pro 15 for $150. And I thought, now that was worth it to me, because I was sitting there thinking, and I should have noticed this when I bought it. I went through the link to upgrade on the email and didn't even see any of this, really. Should have looked at it. If I figured, well, you know, it's about that much, you know, break that down, 150 divided by 12 months, that's less than, you know, I think Adobe Premiere Pro, I think it's $19.99 a month. So that seemed like a pretty good deal, so I went ahead and got it. And I'm happy with this, very happy with the software. I'm going to get to that really quick here in just a minute. But if you are going to go this route, this would be a solid idea for somebody, if you know, that can't afford to spend a lot at once on software, but you could afford this a month. And there's something important you need to know also. Trying to see if you compare these. There was something I noted. This is what made me mad, or, you know, kind of irritated me after I went with, okay, product comparison. The most important thing that is different about these, trying to think, where does it, they don't, if you buy the program outright like I did, the way I read it, you don't get updates to the software. I'm assuming if there's some kind of bug, they'll update it. But if they add features or something to it over the time that you have it, I don't think you get that, which kind of sucks. But anyway, let's get to the important part. This is the reason I would suggest going with Vegas Pro right now over anything else. Now, again, I don't know about Adobe. I don't know how their render times are. You know, again, it probably depends on your hardware and what you got, and, you know, everything. All that comes into play. But this is just based off of what I have in my computer and the times that I normally dealt with. So check this out. Okay, this is my Subnautica video that I just put out a couple days ago. I'm actually fixing to render this for YouTube. So it is, what, a 22-minute and 9-second video. And normally, let's just for simplicity of numbers, a 15-minute video in Movie Studio 14 to render would take at least 45 minutes. It would take at least 3 times the length of the video to render. Probably about 50 or 55 minutes to render a 15-minute video. Now, what they did with this new Vegas Pro 15 is they added their own rendering codec. And what this does, I'll show you what it's called. Magix AVC AAC MP4. Now, what they have normally, let's see. It used to be Sony AVC AAC, I think. Oh, no, there's a Sony AVC MVC. That's the one I would use before. And you can use that one. There's a couple different ones you can use. A lot of these different codecs are specific to what you're doing. So the Magix AVC AAC MP4, that's the one I use. 1080p, 60 frames a second. If you use this codec, watch how fast. This is a 3 gigabyte file. Now, also, this thing renders, the size of the file is slightly smaller than if you use a different codec as well. I don't know how it does it. And you don't lose any quality. So I'm just going to hit render, and you'll see the times going up. This is a 22-minute and 9-second, or 22-minute and 9-second video. And then this right here is going to eventually stop and start counting down once it gets to how long it's actually going to take. This is crazy. I could not believe this. Again, 22-minute video, that would easily take over an hour with Movie Studio. And like I said, nothing against that software. It's good software. It really is. I recommend it. And that's just what I chose to start off with. But, Adobe's great too. It's just pretty, it's like Sony or PlayStation or Xbox. It's whatever you, pretty much whatever you start playing, that's what you kind of like. Okay, this is actually weird, guys. And I think the reason it's doing this is because my processor is running a little harder than it is right now because I'm recording. This is the first time I think because my capture software is running, this is the first time since I started using this software that the render time was longer than the video. Usually it's a couple of minutes. If I wasn't running my capture software, I can pretty much guarantee you this would be about a 19, maybe 20 minutes to render a 22-minute video. It renders that fast. So all I can say is, like I said, this is kind of weird that it's the render time is longer than the video. That was always the norm before. But like I said, I guarantee it's because I'm running my capture software to make this video. But if you're going to be getting into YouTube and rendering videos, then I would definitely look into this. I actually left the preview window open on my other screen. So I'm going to cancel this in just a second and restart it. I'll shut down my Elgato software after that, and then I'll start rendering it again, and I'll post the time right here. This is how long it took without Elgato running. Now, of course, I have no proof of it, but, just have to trust me on it. But, so if you're looking for software, that may be a consideration. And I don't know what Adobe does. One thing I will say, I had Movie Studio 14, and I was thinking about looking into the Pro, and because I already had the software, I got a discount where I only had to pay $150 for for Vegas Pro 15 instead of like $500-600. So to me, that was worth it. It's worth my time to, be able to get these videos rendered out as quickly as possible and not have to, sit around for an hour on a 20-minute video. So anyway, again, if you guys have any questions, just ask me in the comments and I will try to answer them as best I can. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, I will see you guys in the next one. Later.